distinguished author, and my personal favorite, Dr. Dev Roy, is the Bhagavad Gita translation, which I've read several times over. Thank you very much, Dr. Dev Roy. Let us now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Sanjay Baru, best known today for his book, The Accidental Prime Minister, which has broken several records on the best-selling charts. Dr. Baru is an Indian political commentator and policy analyst and is Director for Geoeconomics and Strategy at the International Institute of Strategic Studies. Thank you so much, Dr. Baru. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, yet another distinguished guest, and that is Tarun Vijay, Senior Leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party and member of its National Executive Council. Mr. Vijay is also ex-Chief Editor of Panchjani and very well known for his thoughts on India's foreign policy. Thank you all so much. And now for the star of the evening, Westland's author, Professor Vamsee Juluri. Thank you all so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the formal unveiling of the book. And may I request all of you to please step forward to unveil the copy of the book, or perhaps you can do it from here.
Thank you, Sudha. I'm actually here in a very, very personal capacity. I'm neither a scholar on Hinduism nor entitled to be on a panel like this. But I'm here this evening because Vamsee is someone I've known from the day he was born. He's virtually like a son for me, if not a younger brother. And I've seen him grow up, and this is an important evening for him. So I'm here in a very personal capacity as the author's best friend. I'm therefore very proud to introduce him. Vamsee was a student of journalism and then worked in India before going abroad, studied abroad, and has been at the University of San Francisco in the US teaching journalism. Yeah, he came into prominence with his first book on Bollywood Nation, which was a very interesting analysis of how the Indian nationhood was represented in Hindi cinema. And from Bollywood, he has moved to the second important terrain in Indian politics, which is, in Indian nationhood, which is the identity of ourselves. Vamsee has published extensively internationally, and he has also been active with various civil society groups in the United States. I wish him well, and I welcome all of you. Thank you.
Go to the stage because I have to go there again.
Yeah.
Professor.
I invite Vamsee to speak.
All right, I just wanted to read a page from the preface and then just say a couple of things in terms of how I see the book, 5 to 10 minutes, no longer, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. So this is from the preface of the book. It's called Your Hinduism. You are an achievement. You may not fully know why just yet, but you have probably felt in some quiet way the fact that you belong to something significant that has come before you in history. You might not always know how to express that feeling, but you know that it inspires you and it elevates you. You belong to the one civilization that still stands much as it once did, even after all these thousands of years of human history, thousands of years of wars, conquest, pillage, subjugation, desecration, and devastation. Thousands of years of supposed progress that have given us a world today that runs on brutal violence against nature, life, and the planet itself. You belong to a civilization that is still standing, but surrounded, as it were, by a mess. In India and across the whole world, of environmental devastation, cultural confusion, ethical indifference, and economic insecurity. But still it stands, still there is hope. For a civilization is not just buildings and machines, but it's people, their thought, and their culture. It is a way of knowing the world, a way of giving meaning and value to the contents of life. So, I obviously believe that we are living through civilizational awakening. This is a moment which cannot be reduced to the usual arguments about secularism and communalism. That is just very inaccurate and a narrow way of looking at it. So I believe that what is going on right now in India and in the diaspora, in terms of the renewed resurgence of interest in Hinduism, is nothing short of a civilizational reawakening. And I look at it very simply in generational terms, just to give you a sense of, I guess, why I wrote the book and what I hope you'll get out of it. First of all, I mean, there are just 3 generations within which the story is playing out. The generation that came before mine, my parents' generation. And on that note, actually, I wanted to just share that the book is dedicated to the memory of my father, Dr. J.V. Ramana Rao, who was looking forward very eagerly to its publication, and he missed it by a few months. He passed away in November last year. A great influence on me, and a great guy. So, if you look at Hinduism today, we are looking at the Hinduism of my father's generation, which we often tend to forget, spent its childhood when India was a British colony. Okay? So they were Gandhi's contemporaries, so to speak, or at least they were young and they knew Gandhi in those days. And then you have the next generation, which is sort of ours, people who were born, say, from the 50s to about the 70s onwards, sort of my cohorts. And this generation is now in between and trying to raise children, having become parents, now trying to decide what Hinduism really is, because the children are asking these questions. The next generation is here, and they're asking these questions about what Hinduism means. So we have to make these choices about what to retain, what to reject, and most importantly, what to revive, what to pass on, what to defend. So if you look at it simply in terms of this generational progression, I think it's essential to recognize that what is going on right now is really the civilization awakening is a process of decolonization. And so it started slowly, about 100 years ago, and now it's kind of gathering momentum because it had its interruptions. Now, interestingly enough, using words like decolonization, which I learned in grad school when I did my PhD, strangely enough, I've never heard it used to describe the Hindu experience, at least in the literature that I'm familiar with. So I teach media studies for a living. I'm very familiar with the academic literature. And in our classes, we criticize and analyze misrepresentations and stereotypes. That's what we do for a living. So there's reams of research done on the misrepresentation of all sorts of identities and communities, except Hindus and Hinduism. The moment anybody looks at what's going on, the reality of movies like Slumdog Millionaire or the New York Times crazy editorials, and we point out that there's something seriously wrong with it, you know what one gets called. So anyway, so it is my hope that academia gets decolonized too in its understanding of Hinduism, and that's one of the things I hope to achieve in this book. So the first half of the book is basically a critique of academic Hinduphobia. And by Hinduphobia, I don't mean in any kind of a personal prejudice, it may be there that we don't know, but really the fact that there has been a systematic distortion in academic discourse and in popular media discourses about Hinduism. And a lot of these distortions, when it came to other communities, got corrected by the 60s and 70s in the civil rights era. It's just that we were completely, I won't say we missed the bus, we were pushed off the bus. And some of us who had the chance to be on the bus didn't take us along with it, I think. So that is the problem with the academia. The second half of the book is in a more personal, devotional tone, and it's just sort of my hope about what Hinduism is. I just want to read a few lines, and this is from a chapter called Friends and Cousins, and it's about cousins and friends, and it's about Rama and Krishna. Just to give you a sense of how I see the ethical vision, just 2 minutes. Tvameva. It is an instruction ideally pursued in certain idyllic environmental conditions. In the forest perhaps, in the deer park perhaps, in the morning sun-baked face of a Himalayan peak perhaps, the sense of you alone is clear. There, the salt and water dissolve peacefully, like in the Upanishadic example. There, you are alone, a sage withdrawn from world and worldly mind. There you can be one and become one. But what of the rest of us? What of all of us living not in forests, not in serene Himalayan lake hermitages, but in this world of noise, anger, competition, desires, demands, and most of all people who will not be what we hope they will be. We are put here in a social world, in a family, in a job, in a school, in a community. We are not just spirits in search of truth, but we are sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins and friends, colleagues, co-workers, teachers. We are in this world. We are here as sons and daughters, mothers, fathers, brothers, cousins, friends, Krishna, Yashoda, Rama, Kaushalya, Sumitra and even Kaikeyi, Parvati and Ganesha, Krishna and Arjuna, Rama and Hanuman. Between them unfolds the universe. Between them unfolds all the love in the universe. Ideally, we remember, Tvameva Mata Pita Bandhu Sakha. But we humans, we carry more than the moment with us. We carry history, we carry thought, we carry, to use a contemporary word, baggage. More often than not, in the daily grind of our lives, what lies between humans is not love. It is perhaps only habit, a social role, an itch or expectation, and sometimes a prison. Sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, brothers, cousins, friends. Between them sometimes also burns all the folly of hate in the universe. Eviscerating hate, body-eating hate, Hiranyakashipu hate, Kamsa hate, Kaurava hate, kingdom-scorching hate. In the jungle of our tangled lives and lives, in this wilderness of affection and attachment turned into recrimination and wound, in this samsara, amidst shards of words and actions flying like pieces of broken glass, we do not see love anymore. Still, it is from within this bitter brawl of family life that we Hindus yearn to find our gods, our Shiva Parvati, our Vishnu Lakshmi, and our avatars, Krishna and Rama. So, it is my hope that this kingdom-scorching hate will be stopped by this.
Thank you, respected panel and sisters and brothers here. I think the book has come out at the right time. This is a time when politically being a Hindu, calling ourselves a Hindu, in any fora, brings no benefit. In politics, in social life, in arts, in culture, in books, amongst intellectuals. You have to be a distance from your Hinduness, at least the H word, and in any case you have to join the principal mainstream of so-called intellectuals. Then you have to be you have to be behaving in such a way that you say, oh yeah, yes, but I believe in everything. Yes, I am, but I believe in everything. This is a time when even those, the 500,000 people who were ousted from their home and hearth, only because they were Hindus. They prefer to call themselves Kashmiri Pandits and not Kashmiri Hindus. Because calling Hindus is not a very in thing. This is a time when you go abroad and say that, yeah, you belong to the Hindu culture. Oh yeah, we know that, oh yeah, your people are, your people are attacking the churches and dishonoring the women. Yeah, that is how I have to be in the parliament, and if I have to be, looked as a good intellectual, a very highly sophisticated achiever in scholarship. So when a non-Hindu speaks for providing beef to every poor person and calling it a poor man's protein, yeah, I have to say, yeah, but religiously I may be different, but economically I think what Derek is saying has some substance. So yeah, okay. So at least I keep silence. This is the time when Vamsee has brought this book. Rearming Hinduism to me basically means rearming Hindus with memory, who you are. Rearming Hindus with memory, rearming Hindus that who they were, rearming with those memories which V.S. Naipaul said that the biggest loss that the Hindus are facing today is the loss of memory. And he cited R.K. Narayan that he created that Malgudi, which is 50 kilometers from Hampi. And he wrote a lot of stories woven around Malgudi, but 50 kilometers from Hampi never occurs in it, and never for one paragraph he would like to say that why Hampi was destroyed. Who were the creators of Hampi? Who were Harihar Bukka and Shrangeri Shankaracharya? Because that would have brought a bad and a very embarrassing offense to our secularism. So this is the memory. This is the memory that we have to bring back to the Hindus, that we were the greatest warriors in the world. We fought the Muslim invaders continuously in Sindh, in one area for 175 years. We went all over the planet with our scholarship, with our books, with our compassion, with our love, and with our knowledge. And we created 2000 years before Cambridge and Harvard were even conceived, Nalanda and Takshila. And when Takshila was born, they born 3 million handwritten books. So think of a society 2000 years before. If they could create a 3 million handwritten books, how many years would have taken to make a society that can write those books? That can write those books. We are those. We are those who created the best of the architecture, marvels in the world like Angkor Wat, and we are those who gave the language, the mathematics. If Bangkok says that the best airport they have is Swarnabhumi, it is us and our ancestors. That's the memory I want to bring back to the Hindus. That's the biggest rearming of the Hindus. And fighting back, I must quote one or two lines, just give me half a second, because I like this. There are a couple of paragraphs and there are a couple of pages which I won't like to read here, but I am not in disagreement with that. But what is Hinduism to me? Write 1,000 books on one view and allow another 1,000 books to oppose that view. That makes me a Hindu. Not the IS people and not the other people who would say that now me, my book and my prophet. No. A million flowers with a million fragrances makes me a better Hindu. So what he says that academics do not even realize what it is. Academics with